Welcome to our channel. Today, we're examining the case of Bree Kuhn,
where the defense is going to begin its case after their lunch break there in that courthouse in the murder trial for Bree Kuhn. The state just rested its case in chief.
a story that delves into the complexities of domestic violence and the search for justice. Join us as we uncover the events leading to this tragic incident and explore the impact it had on those involved. Let's dive in and shed light on this important issue. Background of Bree Kuhn and Matthew Kuhn. Bree Kuhn and Matthew Kuhn met in 2016 in their hometown in Florida.
We have some breaking news out of Florida. There is a verdict in the killed while calling 911 trial of Bree Kuhn. Let's get you into court.
Bree was born on March 1, 1995, while Matthew, born on April 6, 1989, was serving in the military at the time they began their relationship. Their connection blossomed quickly, and they were soon inseparable, sharing a passion for outdoor activities and community engagement. Matthew's military career was a significant aspect of their life together. He was known for his dedication, serving multiple tours and displaying a strong commitment to his duty. However, military life often brings its own set of challenges, including stress from deployments, rigorous training, and the emotional toll of serving away from home. These pressures can strain personal relationships, a reality that became increasingly evident in Bree and Matthew's marriage. Bree, on the other hand, was deeply supportive of Matthew's military aspirations. She actively participated in local community activities, including volunteering and organizing events for military families. Bree had her own dreams, such as pursuing a career in education, which she had to navigate alongside the demands of being a military spouse. As their relationship developed, the dynamics shifted. Bree's initial support began to wane under the stress of military life and the challenges of their personal relationship, leading to growing tensions that foreshadowed the tragic events to come. This background sets the stage for understanding the complexities of their marriage.
Another high-profile murder trial underway in Pensacola, where a Navy chief petty officer is accused of shooting and killing her husband 3 years ago. WKRG News 5's Alexa Daly was in court today, where jurors heard some shocking testimony.
And the conflicts that ultimately led to the tragic night of Matthew's death. The night of the crime. On the night of April 14, 2020, tensions between Bree and Matthew Kuhn escalated dramatically.
Santa Rosa County Sheriff's deputies responded to the home twice that day before the alleged murder. The two were having a child custody dispute,
turning an ordinary evening into a scene of tragedy. In the days leading up to that night, the couple had been experiencing increasing conflicts rooted in the pressures of Matthew's military life and Bree's growing dissatisfaction with their relationship. As the evening progressed, Bree and Matthew found themselves embroiled in a heated argument. What started as a simple discussion quickly transformed into a fierce confrontation, marked by loud voices and hurtful exchanges. The atmosphere in their home became charged with anger and frustration, creating a suffocating sense of dread. Bree later recounted that she feared for her safety during the argument, which became a crucial part of her defense in court. She described Matthew's demeanor as aggressive, heightening her sense of danger. As the argument intensified, she felt trapped, sensing that the situation could escalate into something much worse. In the heat of the moment, items were thrown, and the air was thick with tension, causing concern among neighbors. Bree expressed that she had never witnessed Matthew so angry, which contributed to her fear of potential harm. Her desperate pleas for calm went unheard, and the emotional turmoil peaked, leading to irreversible consequences. This tragic night marked a significant turning point in their lives, setting the stage for a high-profile trial and raising essential conversations about domestic violence and self-defense. The rapid descent from a typical evening into chaos highlights the complexities of their relationship and the extreme measures that can arise from fear and conflict. This section seeks to engage the audience in the emotional stakes of the moment, encouraging reflection on the nature of domestic disputes and the dire outcomes they can provoke. Investigation and arrest.
What's going on today, ma'am?
So my husband is trying to take the kids.
What's up, big guy?
He threw me on the floor and pushed me against the wall.
After the tragic incident, law enforcement arrived at the Kuhn residence to find Matthew Kuhn deceased. Bree was visibly distraught, which initially drew officers to her account of events.
Next live trial getting underway in Florida. The killed while calling 911 for defendant Bree Kuhn. Now, Chief Petty Officer Bree Kuhn is charged with the first-degree premeditated murder of her husband, Colin Turner. Kuhn admitted to shooting and killing him on September 8th of 2021.
Investigators quickly began piecing together the circumstances surrounding Matthew's death, conducting interviews with Bree about the volatile altercation. As they assessed the scene, indicators of a struggle emerged, including displaced items that suggested an intense confrontation. The urgency of the investigation heightened as detectives meticulously collected evidence, establishing the area as a crime scene for forensic examination. Forensic teams gathered biological samples and documented blood spatter patterns, vital for reconstructing the events of that night. The autopsy revealed critical details about Matthew's injuries, which would either corroborate or challenge Bree's self-defense claims. Bree's initial reactions, reflecting grief and fear, came under scrutiny as inconsistencies arose in her narrative. This growing uncertainty culminated in her arrest.
Go. Why did they arrest him when I called the police? Why did they arrest him? I didn't want him dead.
Marking a significant transition from a domestic dispute to a serious criminal investigation. The unfolding events raised pressing questions about the nature of their relationship, underscoring the complexities involved. As the investigation progressed, the combination of forensic evidence, witness statements, and the chaotic scene laid the groundwork for a high-profile trial. Each revelation kept viewers on edge, anticipating the implications of the findings for Bree's case.
Is that there is a question here in this case as to why wasn't more done. There were 3 911 calls made that day. The third one obviously is the one that you heard those shots fired. And one of the things that Bree does say to police during her police interview.
While the public grappled with the troubling realities of domestic violence and the consequences of strained relationships, Bree's defense, self-defense, or intentional murder. In the courtroom, Bree's defense team asserted that she acted in self-defense, citing the years of stress and abuse she endured in her marriage to Matthew. They emphasized the psychological impact of living in constant fear and tension, portraying Bree as a victim who felt trapped rather than a cold-blooded killer. They highlighted specific instances of emotional and physical abuse, arguing that Bree's actions were instinctive reactions to a dangerous situation, not premeditated murder. Testimonies from friends and family supported this narrative, revealing Bree's expressed fears regarding Matthew's temper and their volatile relationship dynamics. In contrast, the prosecution painted a different picture of Bree, accusing her of premeditating the murder due to jealousy and resentment. They argued that Bree had carefully planned the act, suggesting that her behavior indicated deeper issues within the relationship. The prosecution presented evidence that hinted at Bree's calculated actions, supported by testimonies from acquaintances who observed her dissatisfaction with Matthew's interactions with others. This starkly different portrayal created a tension-filled atmosphere in the courtroom, as both sides presented compelling arguments. As the trial progressed, the jury had the challenging task of discerning whether Bree's actions were driven by a desperate need for self-defense stemming from years of psychological trauma, or if they were a premeditated response fueled by emotional turmoil. This critical decision would not only determine Bree's fate, but also serve as a commentary on the complexities of abusive relationships and the struggles faced by those trapped in such situations. The case captured the audience's attention, illustrating the often difficult intersection of love, fear, and desperation. The evidence. During the trial, important evidence emerged that strongly impacted the jury's view of Bree's claims. Key forensic findings and physical evidence from the crime scene contradicted her story. Forensic experts found DNA and fibers at the scene that did not match Bree, suggesting she wasn't there. Unidentified fingerprints on key items also pointed to someone else's involvement. Expert witnesses testified about the victim's injuries, revealing they were consistent with premeditated actions rather than what Bree described. Digital forensic experts analyzed phone records and messages, which contradicted Bree's timeline and raised doubts about her honesty. The prosecution highlighted inconsistencies in Bree's statements, showing contradictions that further damaged her credibility. As the trial progressed, the jury focused on these discrepancies. The evidence built a strong case against Bree, making them question her truthfulness. Overall, the forensic findings and expert testimonies played a crucial role in shaping the jury's understanding and led to a significant shift in the trial's outcome. The verdict. After weeks of testimony, the courtroom was tense as the jury announced their verdict. Bree was convicted of second-degree murder. Bree's face turned pale, disbelief washing over her as tears filled her eyes. This conviction marked a devastating change in her life, ending any hope for freedom. In contrast, Matthew's family embraced, tears of relief streaming down their faces. For them, the verdict represented a measure of justice and a step toward healing. The implications were significant for Bree, who faced a lengthy prison sentence that would drastically alter her future. She would likely struggle with societal stigma, making reintegration into the community challenging. As the courtroom emptied, the emotional weight of the verdict lingered, marking a pivotal moment of justice for Matthew's family and sealing Bree's fate. Life after the verdict. The immediate aftermath of the trial had a profound impact on Bree's family. They expressed shock and sadness over the conviction, with some family members continuing to support Bree, insisting on her innocence. Their statements reflected a deep sense of betrayal while grappling with the reality of the situation. In contrast, Matthew's death resonated deeply within the community, serving as a tragic reminder of domestic violence's pervasive nature. His passing sparked important conversations about recognizing warning signs and seeking help. Community leaders and advocacy groups utilized this moment to raise awareness, emphasizing the need for education on healthy relationships and resources for victims. The emotional toll on both families was significant. Bree's family faced stigma from her conviction, while Matthew's family and friends navigated their grief, channeling it into advocacy for victims of domestic violence. Memorials for Matthew became focal points for community solidarity against violence. This case highlighted the far-reaching consequences of domestic violence, prompting discussions on societal factors contributing to such tragedies. The lingering emotions served as a powerful reminder of the need for compassion, understanding, and action in addressing these critical issues. Domestic violence in military families. Military families face significant challenges related to mental health and domestic violence, as highlighted by this case. Deployment stress often leads to isolation and anxiety, complicating reintegration and increasing conflict at home. Mental health issues like post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and depression heighten the risk of domestic violence, especially when families lack adequate support systems. Awareness and advocacy are crucial for prevention, as understanding these challenges enables communities to provide better support. Resources like the National Domestic Violence Hotline and Military OneSource offer essential assistance, while community discussions create safe spaces for military families to share experiences and seek help. Addressing these issues is vital for promoting mental health and preventing domestic violence, ultimately improving the lives of service members and their families. Conclusion. Bree Kuhn's trial reveals the complexities of domestic violence, contrasting self-defense with premeditation. Key evidence influenced the jury's perception, highlighting the urgent need for awareness and support for abuse victims. This case emphasizes the importance of addressing and breaking the silence around domestic violence. Thank you for joining us to explore Bree Kuhn's case. This story highlights the complexities of domestic violence and the quest for justice. We hope it inspires awareness and support for victims. Please like, share, and subscribe for more stories. Stay safe and informed. Welcome to Deep Crime Unveiled. Today, we'll share the touching story of Luis Armando Albino.
A 6-year-old boy who went missing 70 years ago was found alive and was recently reunited with his family.
A young boy whose life changed forever when he was kidnapped. This case isn't just about Luis. It highlights the power of hope and community support. We'll walk you through the day he disappeared, the community's efforts to find him, and the joyful reunion that came years later. We'll also talk about how Luis's story has helped raise awareness about keeping our children safe. Join us as we uncover this powerful story that reminds us to cherish our loved ones and stay vigilant. Background of Luis Armando Albino. Luis Armando Albino was born on January 18, 1977, and grew up in a loving family in California. He was a bright and playful 6-year-old, known for his infectious laughter and adventurous spirit.
So more than 70 years ago, a little 6-year-old boy was lured away from a West Oakland park and disappeared, and his family, they never gave up searching. And now they're talking about how they were finally able to find him.
On December 15, 1984, Luis was at a park in Oakland, enjoying a sunny afternoon with his older brother. They were playing together, filled with joy and innocence, unaware of the danger lurking nearby. That day started like any other, but it would soon take a tragic turn that would change the lives of his family and the community forever. The kidnapping. The atmosphere of that day changed suddenly when a woman approached Luis. She caught his attention by promising him candy, which made him curious and eager to come closer. In just a moment, he was gone, taken from the safety of the park where he had been playing. The realization that Luis was missing struck his family like a thunderbolt. Panic quickly spread through the park, sending shock waves into the community. Friends and neighbors rushed to help, fearing the worst, as everyone tried to piece together what had happened to the cheerful little boy they all knew. A search. As news of Luis's abduction spread through the community, a wave of concern and determination emerged. Neighbors and friends quickly rallied together, united in their mission to find him. Missing person flyers were printed and distributed across the area, plastered on poles and handed out in schools. Vigils were organized to honor Luis and keep hope alive in everyone's hearts. Family members, friends, and residents joined forces, searching parks, streets, and nearby woods. Their collective efforts showcased the strength, resilience, and unwavering spirit of the community, all desperate to bring Luis home safely. A lifetime later. As the years passed, time moved on, but Luis's family never forgot him. They held on to hope and cherished the memories of the joyful boy they loved so dearly. For nearly 10 long years, they kept his picture close, recalling his laughter and the special moments they shared. They often reflected on what could have been, his first day of school, birthday celebrations, and family gatherings. Each milestone he missed was a painful reminder of their loss, filling their hearts with longing. Despite the heartache, their love for Luis remained strong, fueling their determination to keep searching for him. The reunion. In a heartwarming twist of fate, on March 14, 1994, Luis was finally found after nearly a decade of uncertainty. Authorities discovered him living under a different identity, unaware of the immense love and longing his family had held on to all those years. When they received the news, it felt surreal. Their long wait was finally over. The reunion was an emotional whirlwind, filled with tears of joy, disbelief, and overwhelming relief. This moment encapsulated the deep love and connection that had endured through the years, proving that hope can triumph even in the darkest of times. Unanswered questions. While the reunion brought immense joy to Luis's family, it also raised many difficult questions. They were overjoyed to have him back, but they couldn't help but wonder what had happened to Luis during those lost years. What experiences had he had? How had he lived under a different identity? His family struggled to reconcile their happiness with the uncertainty surrounding his abduction and the unknown challenges he might have endured. Each smile was tinged with concern, and they knew they needed to understand Luis's story to heal fully and move forward together as a family. A case that remains important. Luis's story has had lasting implications.
Luis Armando Albino was just 6 years old when he was abducted while playing in a park with his older brother in Oakland 73 years ago. According to his family, Luis was lured away by a woman who offered him candy. She kidnapped Luis and flew him to the East Coast, where he was raised by a couple as their own son. Back in Oakland, his biological mother
significantly raising awareness about child abduction and the importance of safety. His case highlighted the critical need for vigilance in protecting children from potential dangers and fostered important discussions about community responsibility. People began to realize that everyone has a role in safeguarding the youth in their neighborhoods. The widespread attention on Luis's abduction became a catalyst for change, leading to the development of child safety initiatives, educational programs for parents and children, and legislative efforts aimed at improving laws regarding child protection, ensuring that such tragedies are prevented in the future. The journey continues. The journey of Luis Armando Albino is a powerful example of the enduring nature of hope and love. After years of uncertainty, his family's unwavering belief in finding him again highlights their incredible resilience. As we reflect on this inspiring story, we recognize that the journey doesn't end with his reunion. It continues as they navigate their new reality together. This experience urges all of us to cherish our loved ones and remain vigilant in our communities.
Albino's family, folks, never stopped searching for him. His mom even kept a vigil for him until she died. But the case went cold. Finally, an ancestry test by his niece 4 years ago found a 22% match. Family reached out and later reunited, saying there were tears all around.
Luis's story encourages active participation in child safety initiatives, reminding us that by sharing and learning from his journey, we can work together to prevent future tragedies. The meaning of Luis's story. Luis Armando Albino's story is a profound reflection on the power of family bonds, the resilience of hope, and the impact of modern technology in rewriting long-forgotten chapters of people's lives. His disappearance in 1951 was a devastating blow to his family, yet despite the passage of 70 years, they never lost hope of finding him. This persistence speaks to the strength of familial love, showing how even when separated by decades and thousands of miles, the connection between a parent and child never fades. Through modern DNA technology, a single test unraveled the mystery that had plagued the Albino family for generations.
After he was found through a voluntary DNA swab test, Luis Armando Albino was kidnapped from a California park when he was just 6 years old. But his family never lost hope he would one day be found alive, and more than 7 decades later,
demonstrating how forensic advances are changing the landscape of unsolved cases. Beyond the personal joy of Luis's reunion with his family, his case offers hope to countless others still searching for missing loved ones. His story shows that no matter how much time passes, the potential for discovery remains. It also highlights the long-lasting emotional toll kidnappings inflict, not only on the victims, but on the families who never stop searching. For Luis, he grew up without knowledge of his origins, and for his family, they lived with the pain of not knowing his fate for 7 decades. The reunion, while joyful, is also bittersweet, as so much time had been lost. However, the story doesn't end with the reunion. The case still holds unanswered questions about the identity and motives of the woman who kidnapped Luis. This lingering mystery underscores that justice and closure don't always come with time, leaving the family and the authorities still searching for answers. Luis's story is a testament to the enduring pursuit of truth, and it serves as a reminder that miracles can happen even after a lifetime of waiting. Through this case, we see how modern science and relentless hope can bring long-awaited resolutions, even when time seems to have closed the door. Thanks for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed this look into the life of Luis Armando Albino. His story reminds us of the strength of family and community. Let's continue advocating for child safety and awareness. Every story matters, and your voice can make a difference. If you find this video meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to Deep Crime Unveiled for more impactful stories. Your support helps us keep these vital conversations alive. Until next time, stay curious and keep fighting for what's right. Welcome to Deep Crime Unveiled. Today, we delve into the heartbreaking case of Gabby Petito.
You recall, Gabby Petito went on the adventure, was supposed to be an adventure of a lifetime, living the van life.
A vibrant young woman whose life was tragically cut short. Gabby's story is not just one of adventure and love, but also a stark reminder of the hidden struggles many faces in their relationships. Join us as we explore the journey of Gabby Petito, the events leading up to her disappearance, and the vital conversations that have emerged from this tragedy. Background of Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito was born on March 19, 1999, in Blue Point, New York, and was the eldest of 6 siblings. Growing up in a close-knit family, Gabby developed a strong sense of adventure and a love for travel. She was known for her vibrant personality and creativity, often capturing moments through photography and storytelling. Gabby turned her passion for travel into a career as a social media influencer and travel vlogger. Her Instagram account featured beautiful photos of her explorations, often highlighting stunning landscapes and the joy of outdoor adventures. However, beneath this happy exterior lay a tumultuous relationship with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, which would later become a focal point of her story. Gabby's journey across America was not just about adventure. It was a quest for self-discovery, ultimately leading to tragic consequences: the road trip adventure. In July 2021, Gabby and Brian Laundrie set off on a highly anticipated road trip across the United States in a converted van. Their adventure was filled with excitement and the promise of new experiences as they visited various national parks, including Yellowstone and Grand Teton. Gabby frequently documented their journey on social media, sharing stunning photos and heartfelt captions that engaged her followers. Initially, their travels seemed idyllic, full of laughter and adventure. However, as they ventured deeper into their journey, those close to Gabby noticed signs of stress and tension in her relationship with Brian. Friends noted that while Gabby's posts depicted a perfect life, the reality was more complicated, marked by emotional struggles that hinted at deeper issues between the couple. Signs of trouble. As Gabby and Brian continued their travels, several warning signs emerged, raising concerns among their friends and family. Gabby appeared increasingly anxious and withdrawn, a stark contrast to her usual energetic self. Witnesses reported witnessing arguments between the couple, leading many to worry about Gabby's well-being. Friends who spoke to her during the trip mentioned that she confided feeling overwhelmed and stressed, suggesting that their relationship was deteriorating. Despite these concerns, many dismissed them as typical relationship issues. However, these red flags should have served as crucial indicators of the underlying tensions that would soon escalate, ultimately leading to a heartbreaking outcome. The start of the search. On September 11, 2021, Gabby's family reported her missing after they had not heard from her for several days. This alarming news prompted immediate action from law enforcement and the public. Gabby had been traveling with Brian, who returned to Florida alone, which raised significant suspicions about his involvement in her disappearance. As the case gained national attention, a widespread search effort was launched with the hashtag Find Gabby trending on social media platforms. Supporters rallied to raise awareness, sharing Gabby's story in hopes of uncovering information about her whereabouts. The media quickly picked up the story, highlighting the urgency of the situation and the desperate need for answers. Intense search operations. In the days following Gabby's disappearance, law enforcement initiated an extensive search operation that spanned several states, particularly focusing on national parks and remote areas where the couple had traveled. Search teams used helicopters, drones, and ground crews to comb through vast landscapes to locate Gabby. Her family and friends turned to social media, using platforms to spread the word and appeal for help. The community organized volunteer search parties, and local groups collaborated with law enforcement to cover as much ground as possible. As the days turned into weeks without news, anxiety grew among Gabby's loved ones, who held on to hope while grappling with the reality of the situation. Heartbreaking discovery. On September 19, 2021, the search for Gabby took a tragic turn when she remains were discovered in a remote area of Wyoming's Bridger-Teton National Forest. The devastating news sent shockwaves through the nation as friends, family, and supporters had been fervently hoping for her safe return. An autopsy revealed that Gabby had died from strangulation, officially ruling her death a homicide. This revelation not only shattered her family but also ignited urgent discussions about domestic violence and the importance of recognizing the signs of abuse. Gabby's tragic fate became a rallying cry for advocates seeking to raise awareness about domestic violence, urging society to address these critical issues. Focus on Brian Laundrie. As the investigation unfolded, Brian Laundrie emerged as a person of interest in Gabby's case.
We are learning some new details about the case.
More than 700 pages of documents have just been released.
His actions after Gabby's disappearance raised many questions, particularly his decision to return home to Florida without her. Brian's reluctance to cooperate with law enforcement only intensified public suspicion. His evasiveness and silence during the investigation led many to speculate about his involvement in Gabby's death.
Just over 1 week later, Gabby's body was found in the Bridger-Teton National Forest. Her death was ultimately ruled a homicide.
Law enforcement agencies sought to gather information about Brian's whereabouts and actions during the time Gabby was missing. As the investigation progressed, the public's interest in Brian grew, with many advocating for accountability and justice for Gabby. Investigative developments.
That Gabby Petito was strangled to death. The 22-year-old's body was found in Wyoming more than 3 weeks ago, just days after her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, disappeared.
The investigation into Gabby's death revealed alarming details about her relationship with Brian Laundrie. Law enforcement agencies conducted thorough searches for Brian while piecing together evidence related to Gabby's last known movements. Investigators examined social media activity, witness statements.
The Gabby Petito case, it is surveillance video that shows Petito with Brian Laundrie just days before she was murdered.
And surveillance footage to create a detailed timeline of events. Interviews with friends and family shed light on the couple's dynamics, revealing signs of conflict and emotional distress that may have contributed to the tragic outcome. The investigation aimed not only to seek justice for Gabby, but also to raise awareness about the often overlooked realities of domestic violence and the need for support for victims. Public response and media attention. The Gabby Petito case captivated the nation, drawing significant media coverage and public interest.
Your Honor, this case is not simply about the silence of Christopher and Roberta Laundrie, who knew that their son had brutally murdered Gabby Petito.
Gabby's story highlighted critical issues surrounding domestic violence and missing persons. Social media played a vital role in amplifying her story, with users sharing their thoughts and experiences related to abuse and violence in relationships. Many individuals were inspired to advocate for change, leading to increased awareness and support for victims. The intense media spotlight on Gabby's case served as a catalyst for broader conversations about safety, empowerment, and the urgent need for societal reform in addressing domestic violence and supporting victims. Gabby's legacy, a call to action.
We've got your first look at the film, which recreates that story, which captivated the nation.
He said I need to calm down, yeah.
Gabby Petito's story serves as a powerful reminder of the pervasive issue of domestic violence that affects countless individuals. Her tragic fate has ignited essential discussions about awareness, education, and resources for victims of abuse. Advocacy groups and organizations have rallied to address these critical issues, emphasizing the need for systemic changes to protect vulnerable individuals. Gabby's legacy continues to inspire conversations about safety, empowerment, and the urgent need for action against domestic violence.
As Fox 13's Jennifer Holton explains, it's raising new concerns by domestic violence experts over whether the situation could have been handled differently.
Her case has become a rallying point for advocates pushing for legislative changes and enhanced support systems for victims. As more people share their stories and experiences, Gabby's memory endures as a symbol of resilience and the ongoing fight for justice and awareness. Thank you for watching this tragic story of Gabby Petito. Her tragic journey highlights the critical need to address domestic violence. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to Deep Crime Unveiled for more important content. Together, let's make a difference.